A warm welcome to all of you. Today I am going to make a presentation on a book. It's called Bharatakosa. This is the book which is running to around 1000 pages, 985 pages, and most of you would not have been known to what this book contains. So I will be making a brief description of the book, and this lecture is going to be an interactive one. I request each one of you to kindly participate whenever in between my discussion. I'll just try to share the mic with you. You could also interact and give your feedback and your views so that the lecture would be little lively. It need not be a one-way process. Got it? Two pictures there. The Bharatakosa on the left and right is the great author of the book called Manavalli Ramakrishna Kavi. How many of you have heard about him? Can you raise the hands? Who knows Manavalli Ramakrishna Kavi?
Yes, madam.
Very good. At least I can see a few hands raised. So this is a book which is in Sanskrit basically, and published by the Premalatha Devasthanams. It was the reason I chose to work on this book for today's presentation. And what the picture depicts, can anybody say? A mic if required can be shared. The picture gives about Shiva's dancing pose. Can you see that?
Shiva.
And all the attributes of a Shiva Tandava, what we call as the main Natya, which has all the limbs, the Sangita, Gita, Vadya. We have so many terms, Nritya, Nritta. We need not bother about such terms now, but it has to do something with music and dance. So this has been mentioned in this book. I would just give a brief introduction about the book written by Ramakrishna Kavi. The book runs to around 980 and odd pages. It has got references to, it's something like a dictionary, references to musical terms, starting from A and then Ha. And then we have, as usual, when you bring out a book, we have some missing features which is added as an Anubandha, which is called here as the Parishishtam, the appendix. And this was published in 1951 by the TTD under the authority of Sri C. Anna Rao, who was the executive officer during that time. And then since the copies were sold out in 1999, another edition had also been brought up. What is this book? It is basically, you have seen a dictionary. Dictionary would have a term and a meaning. But I would rather call this as something more than a dictionary. It's an encyclopedia or a reference or a compilation of technical terms and their references. And as the author says, the definitions collected from works on music and dramaturgy by Bharata and others. So from Bharata onwards till up to 18th, 19th century he had covered almost many authors. And these are basically based on the Sanskrita Lakshana Granthas. I would just mention here BK, the short form for the Bharatakosa. So by the time this Bharatakosa was first produced on print, the author of this book, whom you saw in the first slide, was 85 years old. This is the foreword written to the book in the second edition. From this, each one of you have to go through this, where he says what are the activities of SV Vedic University, the Pathshalas, the Oriental Institute and other Oriental Research Institute now within the SV University campus, and all other associated institutions, how these have made some contribution for music and dance and how the works have come out, and what is the speciality of this particular book in the words of the executive officer. And about the author, Manavalli Ramakrishna Kavi, he was born in 1866. He had 2 PG degrees. At least it is more than 100 years before having 2 PG degrees, one in Sanskrit, one in Telugu. So just imagine the great appreciate the knowledge what he had acquired, and he started writing poems. He was called as, he was given the title Kavi, because it's not very easy to get any titles as nowadays. Only unless and otherwise you have such a great scholarship, we are not able to achieve such. And still, he had learned many languages. He is called as a multilinguist, and his knowledge was so high, but still we have heard from many people associated and who had lived with him that he was so humble and simple. That is the mark of a true scholar. And this gives a short note on where he had worked during his educational and his professional assignments. He was associated with the Government Oriental Manuscripts Library. Today it is called as the Gautami Library, the Rajmandri Historical Oriental Institute. He was in Andhra for a very long time. He had been with the Baroda Institute, and at last he was with the Oriental Institute as research project assistant, research assistant, and of many other posts. So he was working with manuscripts, and he had travelled many parts of India to collect copies, because at that time no digital machines. One has to go there, sit, write everything, copy and bring. And from some places he was so lucky enough to get the copies and bring them. And all his copies and transcripts, what we call, are all available in the Oriental Research Institute in SV University, Tirupati. Anybody can go, and it has got a free access. We can go and consult them. This book has got an introduction, the main core of the book, because when he is writing a book, he has to give an introduction to the book. In that, he gives very good information. This shows at least the clarity of the author, how he has written the book. It gives the titles, the names of the authors, the dates of the books, because this book had come out in print in 1950s, but it was, the working behind this book had started even in early 1890 onwards, 1920. So 30 or 40 years of hard work, whatever he had collected, all manuscripts, he picked up the shlokas and then pick up what is the particular key word. Then he put that keyword and given the shlokas from each book. This is the way it is written so far. He has given a brief introduction and very good information regarding all the Sanskrit works in the introduction. So then some works, some people would be having a different view, but he has got something to say about it. All this, the validity of the book or what is the real information, all the discussion are also included in the introduction section. I'll show you one part of this introduction. So here you can see the beginning. He says about Natya Darpana, where it says it's a work on Natya Shastra, but probably it contains other chapters as well. The end of the available book contains the following shloka. He gives the shloka. Then afterwards he says, Dattila Kohaliyam. Dattila is a writer on Sangeeta, lived in 1st century. Kohala, a pupil of Bharata, lived in 3rd century. The connection of these two with the author of this Dattila Kohaliyam is an egregious blunder, but the work follows closely only Sangeeta Ratnakara. So don't connect it with Dattila or Kohala. The title of the work is Dattila Kohaliyam, but the work is of Sangeeta Ratnakara, which is 13th century. These two authors belong to earlier centuries. So don't do a connection between, it's a different. Like that he gives his ideas. This is a small thing I'm just showing you from this. The introduction contains all such kind of his own opinion, because at that time music research had not reached that extent. So these the pioneers who were helpful, like Dr. Raghavan, Dr. Premalatha Sharma and M.R. Kavi, they were the people who had given us some insights into the Sanskrit treatises. Now how the book is organized. It contains, I told you, technical terms are chosen from A. Then they are all arranged alphabetically, and each of the terms are then written, and below that the shlokas. The shlokas available in many texts. So at the right side, the name of the source could be the author or could be a work. That is also given. And his own remarks sometimes he has also provided in free Sanskrit prose. So that Sanskrit prose is his own. Here you can see this is the way the book appears. So you can see towards your right, there are one particular term has got, for instance, one term is also called in Natya. That same term also occurs in the realm of Tala or in the realm of Raga. Like that means also he put an icon and says this is related to Tala, this is related to Natya. And then he gives the author's name. You can see towards the right side the small font which gives the names of the source. So I have zoomed in some, and if you take this for example, Ardha Savitraha, this is the name of a Tana by Nanya, and the same thing Ardha Savitri is again a Tana by Kumbha. There he says Shajjagrame Naradiya Tanaha Mapa Dasari. Okay, and then as per Kumbha, Madhyama Grame Shajjahina Shadavaha Rini Dapa Maga. So from Kumbha's work, how it is given. From Nanya's work, how it is given. Nowadays, for us to go and read a book by Kumbha, that is Sangeeta Raj, then you have to go and read the book by Nanya Deva. Instead, if you read this book, it gives all the immediate. That also, that particular term in which shloka, which chapter, where you need not search. It's all given here like an alphabetical order. So you can very easily consult this book. So from what all sources he has collected? He has collected from the so-called today we call as a published work. By that time, probably some of the editions had come out, like the Trivandrum Sanskrit series, the earlier publications from Baroda Institute, the Gaikwad Oriental series. So we had some of the publications, but some were not published at that time, maybe now. Like from now we have from the IGNCA and other publications. And few other works which are even today they are not published. Like there is a source giving some extracts in that book. Today also we do not know where that work is. So for us this book is going to be an important reference material. And some of the known authors, we know the name of the author, yes. There is one Nandi. Who is that Nandi? Nandikeshwara, then Abhinay Dattana, or which work? We do not know. The names look like, resemble very familiar, but do we have access to that work which he is referring to? That is a problem. But he has given very good information. So the names of the authors are given. Sometimes the work name is not known. And there are some rare treatises also. He speaks about Sagaranana. So who is that from where? Vinayaka Bharata. We do not know who is that Vinayaka, who has written that book. What is that Bharata? Anything which is on dance or drama or music, just simply they used to call this is Bharatam, this is Bharata Shastra. So how to now come? These are the problems which I will discuss with you. Please give me some answers also in the next few minutes. And now here is a typical example I wanted to tell you. I have taken an example, Abhanga. This is the name of a Deshitala. Abhange la Plutau Neyau. There is one, the symbol, a stick like, which represents what? Do you all know? Abhanga is the Tala, Abhange in Abhanga, la Plutau Neyau. So it is la and Pluta, two. What is la? Lagu. So Lagu is denoted with a symbol?
One.
A horizontal line. Okay. So Plutau is denoted by a S kind of thing and a slash or a this on the top. So this is given there. This is as per Shrikanta. And then Abhangatale Vigneyo Kramenaiva Lag Plutau. So Lagu Pluta together. In Abhangatala it has to be known, this can be translated. Again the meaning is the same, but it is as per Vema. Vema is Vema Bhupala's work. And then Abhangatale Kartavyam Lagor Akre Trimatrikam. Trimatrika is again synonym for Pluta, where he says a Lagu and after that you put one Trimatrika. This becomes Abhangatala. It is as per Nandi. Now that same Abhangatala is being described in three different works by 3 different shlokas, whatever is given in that book, he is giving now ready reference, like, no, it is given in the same page. So like this, it is going to be very helpful for students and research scholars. So this is one of the diary, handwritten diary of Ramakrishna Kavi. People can read Telugu, I think you can find out. The top he has said, books on Sangeeta and Natya in our house. So he has written a big list. See how he has noted down all these works from me, and this book is very big. I have given only to zoom out only a small portion. If you can see, there are so many pages where he says this I have taken from them. So this diary writing is going to be very, very useful, and we have got a lot of information from such books also. It is in own handwriting of Ramakrishna Kavi, what you are seeing on the stage. Sorry, on the screen. What is the uniqueness of this book? Why should we call this book as a very special or a very important book? This was compiled manually, without any mission. I have heard from some people, I think Prabhakar from ORI 10-15 years before, and even during my earlier visit in 1995-96, where I heard him saying that when Ramakrishna Kavi was compiling this Bharatakosa, he had one of his students along with him, and they used to write all this in papers. The papers were all exhausted. He used to take the backside of the calendars, he used to write in that. He had a desk, there also he used to write. And all these things the student used to write it in papers, and at last that big bundle was given for printing. And making into alphabetical order was also nothing from the machine, like you give a command in Excel or your Word. It was done manually. So nowadays we speak about AI. This is original intelligence and original manpower, not the human power. And many of the readings, what he has put here, are based on his own fieldwork, his own collection of material, his own transcripts that he went and copied and brought. People will not give. They will say, have it with you. It is here, if you want, please come. I will give 1 week time. He will say, copy everything day and night and come back. So that is the way he has collected. He has given a lot of this information in many of his books also. And some authors writing on collected papers of Manavalli, Ramakrishna Kavi, such books, if you see, you will have all this. And most of them are unpublished. So you can't look for this in any Google search also, you won't get this. Nowadays for everything you switch on to Google. This will not be available in Google. And very sorry to say, next I am going to speak, this Bharatakosa contents is also not there. Only the first page is seen. What is inside that 1000 pages has not come out to Google. If I tell, it is there in the Google or in the online, in the Music Research Library website as a PDF of the book in the same, it is the image file in Sanskrit Devanagari. So again I am reminding you, what shall we do? You please give me some answers. And the sources he had gone, consulted, many things what he has said, it is here in this library like this. Today you go and see that library or particular source, whether they are available or not, it's moth-eaten or it is missing or it is broken or somebody has stolen, somebody has threw away, we do not know. So this is the pathetic state how we have to preserve our tradition and this particular treasure. This alphabetical arrangement is very important because for us to 1000 and odd pages now to identify a particular keyword, that will be very useful. He has given some extracts. Okay, I told you about the Abhangatala. But not only that, he has given some his interpretation. This belongs to this century. Actually, in this chapter it is given like this, but don't think this one. As I told you in the introduction, like that, he has given some of his own interpretation, which is in Sanskrit language. He has not brought in any other language within that his scope of the book. So a Sanskrit scholar has brought out such a good work. And the cross references to all this what he has said in Bharatakosa is there in many of the manuscripts. This is now the vice versa. You go and see some of his manuscripts, in the border, the margin he has said BK page 28. You open the BK Bharatakosa page 28, you will see that same shloka in that particular manuscript. So this will tell us that in which manuscript he has collected from where he had brought. This cross reference, today our students will not know how to give cross reference. while writing an article, while writing any kind of a research material, we have to give references, we have to give the footnotes. So that he has very meticulously followed. Everything was done with just a pencil and a pen. And he has given some scholarly remarks. This belongs to this century. He says this is particularly on this Brahmari and all this, but this is not that what is said in Bharata. This is something different. So like this, he has given some of his scholarly remarks at every part in all these manuscripts and also in Bharatakosa. So there are already some writings on Sangeeta literature by Dr. V. Raghavan. You should all have known about it. In 1930s, published in Sangeet Natak Academy Journal and the Music Academy Journal. But these are also the same. But this is more relevant because you have the exact, like you have a plate, I will say a plate of cut tomato. So a plate of cut tomato, that's all. Maybe I can put you a picture. But if I bring and show you a plate, keep some real tomato and give it to you, you can see that what it is. So I would compare that way, like everything is presented as you see, so it is there. So that this is the real reference what we get from this Bharatakosa. Now, please tell me, my dear students, teachers and all music lovers, what shall we do with this book? How shall we utilize this book? I have shown you the book. It is TTD publication, it should be here. I now request some of you to give your views as what shall we do with this book. Otherwise my talk would not be appropriate or useful in this situation. Anybody, please take the mic.
Digitalize it and put it in online.
Digitalizing which one? The book itself is available online as a PDF. It is in the Music Research Library. Definitely everybody should know where it is. I would share you the link. Please download that. You can see the book. What you say is right. At least we have a digital copy of the book. Right.
All the audience can be requested here to keep it as a DP in their WhatsApp.
Wow, very good. So, may I know your name, sir? Vikram wants all the audience here to keep this book in the DP of their WhatsApp. Very good. So now, sir, please pass on the mic to him. Feel free to give your views. It might motivate somebody else. There could be some positive happenings after this. Yes, sir. Sir wants to tell something. Akkada evandi sir em cheppali.
Because our purchase the book and read completely.
Very good, thank you, sir. Please purchase the book and read completely the whole book.
After reading, we will decide what to do there.
Yes. So daily at least one page per day. Keep on doing it. Very well taken.
Namaste, Dr. Premalatha garu. This is Shabari Girish Music College.
Yes, sir, Sabari sir.
That was very nice. It was an eye-opener. Like you made us realize that just going about singing is not enough. Such valuable works have to be preserved for posterity, so that the future generation of artists know that what we are singing and what we are doing now have all originated from such great traditions. And as you said, you published this book. I mean, you published it or the TTD has?
This is published by TTD.
Okay.
Book is there.
Yeah.
So now, how shall we utilize the book?
Yes.
He said we can read the book, we can buy the book.
Every library should have this book. That's my humble opinion. Because if it is accessible in libraries, wherever, automatically the students will have access to that. Of course, not everybody will be able to read it digitally.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So
Taken. Any other views, please? Rajashri ma'am.
Actually, this is an eye-opener, whatever you said today, because we also have this book in the library. And since we have both dance and music in the department, masters, first, ideally I would think that at least the keywords could be separated into the three aspects of that is Sangeeta,
Gita,
Natya
Natya,
and
Tala.
So we can first separate that, and one batch can just work on the whole book. I mean, take the keyword, separate it, and what is the definition given, and do the cross reference also.
Yes, that will be yes. Yeah, very nice, very
So
nice.
that can be done. I think we can engage 2 batches of students of masters.
Okay. I too have some similar. Next slide would tell about it. I too have some more ambitious ideas which I will again share with you. Whoever is ready to take it upon, you can spread this with your fellow musicians and teachers, and we can come out also. Yes, next.
Namaste ma'am, I'm Saundarya Lahari.
Saundarya Lahari from Madras University.
Yes,
Dance Department.
Music department.
Music Department.
Research scholar ma'am. So you have told that it talks about, the book mainly relates to Sangeet Ratnakara of Sharandev or Soma Kavi.
No, it is. This book has got all references from almost all Lakshana Granthas, whatever Kavi had consulted from 2nd century to 18th century. Bharatakosa Manjari is a work in the late 18th, 19th century. Till that book, whatever is there, he had added almost. All Sanskrit works alone. Like Jaya Senapati's Nritta Ratnavali is there, Sri Kanta's book is there, Ahobilas' work is there.
So the work also talks about commentaries or only the main three analysis?
See, when the shlokas or the references are given to the shlokas, so probably it should be only the Moola. Commentaries we have on Sangeet Ratnakara or for Somanatha's Ragavibodha. Commentaries would be in a prosodical or a prose form. He had given that information in the introduction, but the assets that references in the encyclopedia kind of a dictionary with the technical terms are related only with the terms. And there are some from Abhinava also. He has given the extracts from Abhinava's commentary also. It's a passage. So it contains both shloka and passage.
Thank you so much.
Yes, anybody else? Anybody wants to tell, or shall we go to the next?
Even the video of this particular program should be put in YouTube so that we can get more.
That has to be done by SV Music College and DTD. This is my student. He is just recording it for his own, preserving it for the future. Maybe we can share that. Usually DTD is just the recording of the whole proceedings. So now I have some ideas about my own views. Till now research has been done on Sanskrit text or editing a work. You go and ask any research scholar in your university, they will say, shall I go and work on Nritta Ratnavali, shall I go and work on CDP, Chaturdandi, or this chapter, or this book, or some small technical theories like that. We go and do some research on the published work, or sometimes if it is in a manuscript, go and make it edited and bring it out. So these two we are doing, or writing some notes on the ancient works. But linking the printed works and the manuscripts, this is very critical. We have to, they have the same origin, but there are some missing gaps. They have to be linked. And all main sources are in Sanskrit, but today only some have English translation. But how many works we have the regional language translation? We can't expect everybody to know English. If it has to reach a common man, it has to be translated in the regional languages. We need a Tamil version, we need a Telugu version. Not only the lipi. Lipi is the script that a machine can do. You type everything in one language, there is a machine output you can put like Google Translate. No, it gives it to Aksharamuka. You can use many softwares are there. You can get the output in another script. But we need to organize this and see that the entire work is available as a translated form to many regional audience or the regional common man also, people from different parts of India. And another thing, the quotes and the extracts are from rare unpublished works, and the authors here supplied in Bharatakosa, from which book he has taken. He says now Sri Kanta. What is Srikanta's work? Anybody knows? Okay, what is Ahobila's work? You have heard about Rasakaumadi, you have heard about Sangeeta Parijata, Sangeeta Ratnakara. Okay, take Sharangadeva, Sangeeta Ratnakara. He gives one quote, Sharanga. This Sharanga, what he says, is it there in our printed book? If it is not there, then he has consulted some manuscript which has not been used by that particular editor. There are so many manuscripts, all may not be in the edited book. We have already 3 or 4 editions from 3 or 4 different periods. Everything, Adayar Sanskrit series, they have brought some Sangeeta Ratnakara. Anandashrama series was very earlier, that is a different one. So now imagine if IGLCA is going to publish a new version, there could be some other left out manuscripts. Now, which manuscript, which shloka this person has quoted, that linking itself will take some thousands of years. So this has to be done. Next, there is no, I would first say what you said, making it digital. I would extend it this way. First, let us make a database or an index of technical terms. There is no index for this book. Which anga, okay, Abhinaya, in this page number of Bharatakosa, refers to which source. That index itself of this 1000 pages will be very, very useful. Immediately anybody can first start with an index. When the index is prepared, then you make it with our own Excel. No, we don't want to sit and work manually. We have all the facilities. You can sort out, filter and take only some keywords or only some text or only some topics like related to Taladasha Prana, related to Chari, related to Natya, related to rare authors. Like that we can take some few from that. So that indexing is first important. That index can be brought out in all languages. At least then a person will come and read this book, that particular portion he can consult some Sanskritist to help him to translate or help. So this is another one. And this will also now, when you start doing the index, you will know how it is very, very useful. Then as Rajeshri Madam was telling, each one can be taking up it. So this kind of a research work, I think it can't be done by a single individual nowadays. Probably this, I would request the TTD, I do not know who is here representing the music college or the Premalatha Devasthanams, or they can just put a word to them. If TTD can take this up as a project and make it as a collaborative one, bring some scholars, teachers and some scholars, students as a team, and they can sponsor this, and first to start with phase 1, making an index. Phase 2 would be going into the next stage of description and then taking the rare works alone from which manuscript. This one from which manuscript, printed work, where it is given. We can give that kind of an annotated bibliography kind of a thing. So this can be elaborated in this manner. So with these words and request to the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanams, with the blessings of Lord Venkateshwara, I think in the next future, definitely we will see a very good project of this Bharatakosa to reach all the people, all the students. So I wish this has to be taken up, but now whether that is there or not, it is all official, let it happen. But each individual can take this book, it is available in Music Research Library website, download and see if it is going to be of any help. At least something, whether we understand or not, something like Spanish, German, just go through and see, there is something here. Take a note of it. No, somewhere, sometime, knowledge, jnana keeps on increasing. Whether you know or unknowingly keep on reading, that will anyway get stored somewhere, will get accumulated. So that is going to be very, very helpful. And as Sir said, there are a lot of references to Raga Lakshanas also here. Which what is Arohana, Avarohana as per this word, it's also there. Each raga, the raga and the ragas, Deshi ragas, all references are given. So I take this opportunity to thank you all and for patiently listening to this talk on Bharatakosa. So hope this was not a boring session, a motivating and a thought-provoking session. That was because I had worked on this read something like drinking water daily. I have been doing this Ramakrishna Kavi's writings from very long back, at least from past 28 to 30 years. So during my talk at the Music Academy in 2010, where I was to speak about the Bharatakosa and his contribution also, my talk was on Manavalli Ramakrishna Kavi, and that particular talk was very well appreciated, and that brought about some of the descendants of that particular person, the Ramakrishna Kavi's families, to again come up, okay, somebody has now thought about our grandfather. So they started taking it up, and then the Telugu department of the Madras University had also organized a program on Ramakrishna Kavi at that time. So I now feel that everything stopped then. It should not go like that. We need not have any big program or event. It's only that some research work should come out of it. It need not be for a PhD, or always we need not think about PhD, MPhil and all. Just for our own passion, we can sit and prepare. First, like the letter starting with A. That alone somebody can make on this one. We can just keep on adding to that, and TTD again can bring this out in a facial manner is my kind request and appeal. Please, Sir Sabri Sir and others who are here, take this up to your husband, because TTD would be the appropriate person, because they have the copyright of this book and it is associated with Tirupati. So we are all today assembled here. You can take an oath that at least one shloka, one page, one word, we can read this. And that would be the great tribute to Ramakrishna Kavi, who had not expected anything for himself. And thank you once again for this opportunity. Thank you. Now I request Dr. Sabari sir to come on to the dais and speak few words on this lecture. Thank you.
Om Namo Venkateshaya. Namaskaram to everybody. This talk by Dr. Srimati Premalatha ji was, it caters to the intelligentsia. I've never been a research scholar. I've never done PhD. I don't know why I've been called here to speak, because it looks as if a person is asked to speak about the sun. She's, a notion of knowledge, I know about that. But the right person would have been my colleague Dr. Purna Vaidyanathan, who can share more things on her and her research. But she often refuses. From there she says, no, please. It was really an eye-opener, as I said. We are all artists. We are all centered on just singing, giving concerts. For myself, I've been an artist, I've been a pedagogue all my life. I've never been a research scholar. But as we listened to what Madam had to say, it was an eye-opener, we should question, we are all singing these as per Shastras. Where did all this come from? Where did all this come from? All these Shastras, and if we attribute all these things to that, then a little of our research, research-oriented thinking will increase. That's what I felt, because I've never been that way all my life. Just stuck on to the ragas and teaching and all these things, and I feel for that. And Dr. Premalatha Garu was here in the SV University, and we have lost, I should say, we have lost a good scholar to a different university. We couldn't utilize her services at all much, but some of my illustrious colleagues like Dr. Purna Vaidyanathan Garu and Dr. YBS Padmavati Garu, my colleagues, they were all her Madam's research scholars. They had taken guidance from Madam and completed their research projects. And the little I know from Dr. Premalatha is through Purna Vaidyanathan ji. I'll be happy if you can speak a few words. You can speak. We never knew that there is this Ramakrishna Kavi and this Bharatakosa and all these things. At least I didn't know about it. I'm so happy to know about it, and I was doubly happy to note that Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam has published this as early as 1951. 55 when Dr. C. Anna Rao was the executive officer. Look at their vision. I wasn't even born. The vision of those people who were there at that time. And that is being used now. Madam has brought it to the forefront. And as she also rightly suggested, can be translated by young research scholars. There are so many of you here from different states, Kerala, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu. Hopefully some of you can take it up for translation and make it available for future generations of scholars. And at least, if not all, some will carry on this tradition, our roots, connecting our roots, from where we got all these things. That's the little I can say about this, because I'm not a great scholar on these things. I'm so happy, doubly happy. And she made it very interesting, interactive, and there was not a dull moment, I can say. Thank you so much, Madam, for coming over here. And I thank our principal, Dr. Uma Mundubala Garu, and I also thank my sister, colleague, Dr. Purna Vaidyanathan, for taking efforts to arrange Madam's presentation on this forum when we have all young students from different states. Thank you all. Thank you, Madam. Thank you.
చాలా ధన్యవాదాలు సార్. మేడం గారికి ఒక కళాశాల పక్షాన చిన్న చిరు సత్కారాన్ని అందిస్తూ ఉన్నారు డాక్టర్ వి. ప్రేమలత గారు, సెంట్రల్ యూనివర్సిటీ, తమిళనాడు, తిరువారూరు. రామకృష్ణ కవి యొక్క ఆలోచనల్ని, ఆశయాల్ని సంగీత ప్రపంచానికి ఎదిగేటువంటి బిడ్డలకి ఎంత అవసరమో ఆంగ్లంలో అతి కొద్ది మందికి తెలియబడేటువంటి అంశం, దాని వల్ల ప్రత్యేకంగా వారి యొక్క వైవిధ్యాన్ని నేను తెలుగు మాధ్యమంలో తెలియజేస్తూ ఉన్నాను. ప్రత్యేకంగా వీరంతా కూడా ఓ యూనివర్సిటీ స్థాయిలో అనేక మందికి డాక్టరేట్లు ఇప్పించి తద్వారా రీసెర్చ్ సన్నివేశంలో ఆ చిరంజీవులకు ఎదుగుదలకు చాలా ముఖ్య భూమిక పోషించినటువంటి పెద్దలు. అందుకనే ఇంత వరవల్లో కూడా మన ప్రిన్సిపల్ మేడం గారు, డాక్టర్ ఉమా ముద్దుబాల మేడం గారు ప్రత్యేకంగా ఇవాళ ఈ మధ్యాహ్నం ముగింపు కార్యక్రమంలో వారు కూడా వచ్చేసి వారికి చిరు సత్కారాన్ని అందించారు. జ్ఞాపిక మరొకసారి సంగీత కళాశాల పక్షాన, టీటీడీ యాజమాన్యం పక్షాన, ఇంత ఓపికగా ఈ కార్యక్రమాన్ని ఆస్వాదిస్తున్నటువంటి శ్రోతల పక్షాన కూడా ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేసుకుంటూ, మరొకసారి అరేంజ్మెంట్స్లో ముఖ్య భూమిక పోషించిన మా పూర్ణ వైద్య మేడం గారు కూడా ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేస్తూ, థ్యాంక్ యూ మేడం, నమస్తే, థ్యాంక్ యూ.